Let's go ahead and kick this off, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, might have to bring it closer.
Can you hear me now?
You're my favorite.
Just 1 second.
Is yours any better?
No, I can hear you now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to kick off this community needs workshop, starting with Madam Chair, if you'd like to start this up.
I would like to call this meeting to order. The City of Prescott's Community Block Grant meeting on November 19th, 1 o'clock. I need a roll call, and we will start here.
Deborah Sapwini. Janie Evans.
Jim Howell.
Betsy Howe.
Marianne Suttles, and we probably will have our next member in a little bit late. And from there, I would like to get a motion to accept the minutes from the August 20th, 2025 CDBG meeting. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I would like to approve the meeting minutes from August 20th, so I second that.
I need a second.
I'll second. Betsy Howe.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes.
Jim?
Madam Chair, I was absent, so I'll be abstaining to vote on this.
Sounds fine. Any other? All those in favor, raise their hands, say aye. Those minutes have been approved. All right, Michael, I think you're number B.
I'm up. Okay, thank you everyone for attending. I'm Michael McInnes. I'm the CDBG coordinator with the City of Prescott. CDBG stands for Community Development Block Grant. So we're at the beginning of our grant season. The grant application opens, grant application period opens December 1st, and it'll be open through January 31st. Okay, it's an online application. Everybody that's in this room will be notified about it. Of course, it be made open to the public, and it's something that if you've never applied for this grant before, I'm here to help. That's a big part of my job, is helping organizations apply for this grant to help low to moderate income individuals. So this first chart kind of tells where we're at. The opening of the grant season is this community needs workshop. All right, so CDBG community needs workshop. First, this is for the committee. This meeting here acts as a public hearing. It was in the newspaper as a public notice to the community. That's required by our citizen participation plan, as well as HUD. So this is all part of the process. This is an opportunity to hear directly from the community stakeholders, as well as directly from community members, about what the needs are in our community regarding low to moderate income households, individuals, okay? And as we go through this process, we do have about 2 hours in this room. I don't think it's going to take that much time, but feel free to ask questions. Probably once we get through a group, so we get through a whole line, and then we can come back and ask questions. Okay, what is CDBG? Again, Community Development Block Grant. This is a HUD program. It's a federal program that the city's involved in. We have been involved in it since 2003. We get roughly around $250,000 to $260,000 a year. It doesn't sound like much, but we really make it stretch, and a lot of folks I can tell have been part of this program, have applied and used CDBG in the past. So it's great to see all of you here. It's specific to low to moderate income individuals and household of Prescott specific. So this grant is just for individuals living in Prescott, not in the county. It can kind of get confusing within the city because there are properties that fall in the county. So we do check to make sure you're serving individuals that are in the county. Now, if your organization is headquartered out in PV or Chino, that's fine, as long as they're serving folks in the Prescott jurisdiction, you'd be eligible for this grant. Okay. Here's some examples of what CDBG funds can be used for, or what they've been used for in the past. Minor home repair. I think this is our third or fourth year of minor home repair here in Prescott. And we can do a lot with that. Usually it's like a water heater replacement. We can't do anything like repairing windows or replacing windows or installing a new roof. But some minor stuff, we have up to $5,000 per household with that minor home repair. And that's active right now and fully funded. So we have public infrastructure improvements in LMI areas. Dexter neighborhood has been designated an LMI area per HUD. So if there's projects specifically in our Dexter neighborhood, which is close, a little bit north of this downtown, that is a somewhat easy project or activity we're able to fund through CDBG. Okay. Public infrastructure also, the senior center is a good example of where CDBG funds have gone before. HUD makes it fairly easy with this, maybe easier. HUD funds or likes to fund projects or activities for seniors. We have a growing senior population, and in that case, this money can be used for those populations. In some cases, without necessarily looking at the income levels. Okay. All right. Let me see if job training, transportation services, parks and recreational spaces, and I'll just leave it at that. Okay. Now, this is for the stakeholders, you guys, the non-for-profits, the organizations, what we're doing today. And today is not about asking for money or really doing an elevator pitch on a project. It's not about that today. Today is expressing or stating to the committee, the Citizen Advisory Committee, what needs, what challenges your organization sees on the ground, okay? Because you guys do the big work, the hard work. You're all right in there seeing what's really happening a lot in this city, okay? This is an arm of council. So in a lot of times, this is an opportunity to speak directly to council in a way with what's really going on in the community with your organizations, okay? That a lot of times isn't heard. So this is a forum for being heard and recorded, because everything that's said here today gets recorded in our annual action plan that we develop as a committee, staff member that goes to HUD and helps with funding, as well as if you're applying for a grant, this goes to that as well. So how I have it, and I emailed this out, I'm going to do different sections at a time. And when I call out your organization kind of space, whether you're in housing or basic needs and senior services, health services, I'll call you up. And the whole group or sector or whatnot will sit at this table. And we'll go down, starting with the individual closest to me. So this is the seat that presents first. Okay? And it's real short, real informal, right? You're going to state to the committee who you are, the organization you represent, and also just stating the needs, the challenges that your organization is facing, okay? And then that's about it. We're going to go all the way down the line, and then at the end of everybody speaking for their group, the committee will be able to ask some questions directly of you guys. So any questions? Pretty straightforward. You'll start seeing how this goes. I don't imagine we'll be here the full 2 hours, but should be hopefully pretty positive. Yes, Madam Chair.
And with that being said, our board member Ginger Cutting
Okay.
is here, so we have a full board and ready to go.
Okay, awesome. All right, anything from the committee at this point? Get this party started. Okay, so the first group I have is from the city departments, Public Works, Community Development, Housing, Workforce Housing, and Parks and Recreation. So any city departments, and I'm actually going to go up here as well. I'll start it off here. Okay.
I was gonna take the hot seat.
Yeah. You wanna, yeah, for sure. All right, Michael McInnes, again, I work with the city. In this role, I'm the staff liaison for the Workforce Housing Committee. Just some updates on what's happening with that committee. We just concluded a workforce housing policy framework that got accepted by the city council, I believe, a few weeks ago. Some big things, again, workforce housing continues to be, more and more attention is being focused on workforce housing. There's been community meetings. I think the YCCA put a meeting together to talk about workforce housing and the issues there. When we talk about workforce housing, it's that sector, and this was developed or part of our workforce housing committee. It's that 60% to 120% LMI. Okay, and why the Workforce Housing Committee is focused on that? That seems to be the area or the level of income that you're stuck in the middle. You make more than, say, a low income housing facility would take you. You can't live there, and you can't afford the rents or buying anything new in this community. So I just wanted to share what's happening there. That's the focus, and it's getting a lot more attention in the community from everywhere. So that.
Hello, board members. I'm Eric Sparkman. I'm the new drainage engineer for the city of Prescott. I've been about 2 months on the job. It's already been a challenge with all the water and the drainage issues we get. This is my first community needs workshop meeting I've attended. Currently, I have been placed as project manager for the Dexter neighborhood area to help reduce some of those flooding impacts. So we presented the Dexter neighborhood at the last meeting last year when we were trying to obtain some funding for design of the project. We did receive CDBG funding for the design, and we have contracted with an engineer, Wilson and Company, to provide professional design services. So we have just started on the design. Obviously, our goal is to identify a project in the area, the project limits being along Merritt Street between First Street and Lincoln Avenue. It's kind of a high impact area that's impacted by a lot of drainage flows. So we hope to identify a feasible, beneficial, and constructible project that we hope to move on to construction. With that being said, we have a little bit of funding for the construction. The anticipated construction costs are between $1.2 to $1.5 million. So depending on funding, we really are trying to start construction in fiscal year 27. The design will be completed in fiscal year 26 at the end of June 30th. They'll probably fall right on that deadline. They always seem to. And then we would like to go in construction depending on funding, but it might fall to fiscal year 28, just as I mentioned, depending on available resources, money, that is. So nice meeting everybody, and that's all I have.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Christy Diaz-Trahan, the Recreation Services Director for the City of Prescott. Last year, we and representatives from the Community Nature Center and the school district asked for funding for a restroom facility at the Community Nature Center. And thank you for funding that project. Cost estimates are 3 times that. And so we will come back asking for additional funding, not to bridge the gap, but to get us closer. And we will also be asking for additional funding through the Arizona State Parks. So we're trying to leverage a variety of different funding sources. The users there are youth, and so through the school district, through their outdoor education program, they have hundreds and hundreds of children coming through that space and learning outdoor recreation. It is also one of the only ADA accessible walkways. So it provides a nice outlet for those that have some mobility challenges within the city of Prescott. And so our goal, again, is to have a restroom, which really means people can stay there longer. So with that, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you. Questions? I think we're good.
Any questions? Okay, awesome. All right, thank you very much. Next group, we're looking at the housing. All organizations involved in housing, I threw some down here that I know: Agape, CCJ, Catholic Charities, PASS, US Vets, Hope House, if they're here. Again, any organization that is in the housing space. Of course, minor home repair. So this might be one of the bigger groups. All right, we'll start at the beginning here with US Vets.
All right, thank you. Madam Chair, board members, thank you for having me here today. My name is Brian Campbell. I'm the Executive Director for US Vets, and I'm also a veteran as well. Something that we're very concerned about currently is the HUD Notice of Funding Opportunity that just got released on Friday. That right there is going to be a decrease of roughly 70% of the permanent housing subsidy that the veterans will be able to qualify for. So currently we have transitional housing and we have some permanent housing. With that being said, that's roughly $392,000 that's going to impact our budget as the federal government has shifted from the permanent housing model to transitional housing and some other stuff there. Another thing that we're seeing, personally at US Vets is our project on the Fort Whipple campus. We're on track to open up 103 permanent housing units for senior veterans this next year. 23 of those units will be opening in January, and then we have another 80 units that will be opening in June. So this next fiscal year is going to be very, very concerning to us as we try to navigate the supportive services that we need. Something that I always try to advocate for is direct services are very, very important, but it takes people to run those positions to have the positive impact that we're trying to have, with the veterans. This past year alone, we served 531 veterans. 100 veterans received permanent housing. 72 were employed. And we also had served over 71,000 meals on site, at our Fort Whipple, our Liberty Point project. So that's just the concerns that I currently have in our community. And as always, thank you for your support that you've given us over the years.
Hello, committee. My name is Carmen Frederick. I'm the Executive Director of Prescott Area Shelter Services. We're a 90-day emergency shelter for women and children. We also, in the last several years, have expanded into transitional housing. And we have 3 other properties, 2 homes and 1 fourplex with 4 apartments, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, serving low-income families and children, single fathers, and sometimes women over 60 on a very fixed income. Our concern in our shelter and for our clients and who we serve is lack of housing, affordable housing for them on very fixed incomes. We're seeing women who are on disability or who are on Social Security with $800 to $1,200 a month only. They choose many times to sleep in their car or in a shelter or city hopping instead of being stable in housing somewhere where they can afford. We have very few senior housing available here in the Prescott area for women. And so that population is of concern. We have most everybody in our emergency shelter right now are over 60. So it is a concern, and we're looking to hopefully expand in that area with either permanent housing or more transitional housing for these women until they are able to get into senior housing.
Becky Mitchell from Agape House of Prescott. We serve families overcoming homelessness. We provide discipleship, mentoring, life skills training, and interim housing. We have served 57 families, including more than 120 children, and over the years, we're really noticing that gap of the missing middle that everybody keeps talking about. So clearly, of the families served, 30% of them are able to get into low-income housing. Great. There's a 2-year waiting list, but wait it out, you'll get in. And then some of our families are able to purchase homes. We're very grateful for the banks that partner with us. The challenge is 40% of our families, they've got jobs, but they don't have enough for a down payment, and they are making too much for low income. So you're talking about homeless families that are making $45,000 and $60,000 a year. That's not correct. So we're just concerned about that missing middle. Once the Prescott Valley Completion Project is done, we'll be able to serve 13 families at a time. We thank you for the Community Development Block Grant, who has walked with us for over 10 years, helped us renovate a 9-unit apartment complex just a few blocks west of here. Grateful for Carmen, who many years ago, she was like, you know what we really need is we need family transitional. So that's why we started what we did. So we're always working together, and appreciate the community group here that is investing into the nonprofits. And Brian and I have worked on some families together too. So it's just beautiful the way that our community comes together and sees a need, but being solution focused. There's people out there who want to find solutions. Agape House is seeking that, but so are my brothers and sisters here. Thank you.
Thank you. Well said. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and committee members. My name is Sherry Heine. I'm with the Prescott Chamber of Commerce Foundation. We are currently handling the minor home repair program. It started off as a pilot program, and the goal of the program was to help those folks that are in a home but can't afford necessity or projects that are a necessity to keep them in the home. And so this program has been about 3 to 4 years, as Michael mentioned earlier. I think it's moving out of that pilot and going into a very successful program. We can help folks up to $5,000 with the grants. We have helped folks that didn't have hot water for 5 years, ADA ramps, you name it, just a lot of things that will help fix those homes so that they can stay in them. We have serviced over going on 8 so far this year, and we have many more applications in the process. I would say that this is a big need for our community, and it's just an honor to be able to help them. When we go out there to see these projects, it just warms your heart to see how you're really helping someone. I would also state that some of the issues have been electrical, and that we had one case where the panel was very dangerous. The home, it's amazing it didn't start on fire. So these projects are very, very important to keep our residents in their homes, and we greatly appreciate the support.
Good afternoon. My name is Lindsay Chatham, and I am the Executive Director for Village of Hope. And at Village of Hope, we are working with pregnant women who are in crisis, trying to get them off the streets, out of domestic violence situations, and put them into a safe place so that they can learn life skills, parenting skills, all of the things that no one has ever taught them in their life. So we're trying to help them become citizens and good moms and all of those kinds of things. So right now, the two biggest concerns that we have is childcare and transportation. It's really hard. We feel like we're kind of on a hamster wheel with both of them because they can't get childcare because it's not affordable if you can even find it. There's actually very few infant childcare resources within the area, but if you can find it, it's usually not affordable for them. And then even if you can, they can't get to work, get to school, or any of those kinds of things because there's no transportation that will get them back and forth. So within our program, we are basically trying to launch a childcare program and a transportation program to take away these gaps because they can't continue to move forward and progress in their program and progress in life in general if they can't get into work and they can't get to school. And so really, we're kind of at a point where we're like, we got to figure something out. So we're trying to create some programs within our program to make those things happen and make it work, which obviously increases our budget, increases the amount of staff that we need, all of those kinds of things. So those are the two biggest things that we're facing right now. I'm part of a group of people who are trying to help solve that childcare issue within this area as well. So we have made some good strides there. We're hoping for some change there. And I know that the city is working hard with transportation as well, but that's kind of what we're facing. So thank you so much for your time and coming together to listen.
Hi, my name is Allison Leneker. I'm the Executive Director of the Coalition for Compassion and Justice. So we run the only true emergency low barrier shelter in the county, which means law enforcement drops off to us, EMTs, fire department, mental health agencies, the jail, they all feed into us. So I'm not going to share anything new than what my friends here said. We don't have enough affordable housing, and the wages aren't adding up to the house prices. So I won't talk about too much of the affordable housing, although we develop affordable housing as well. Something that I would like to touch on is the emergency services. Right now, I have not seen a demand for emergency shelter services this high in the 8 years that I have worked at CCJ. In the summertime, we were turning away upwards to 15 to 20 people a night. Where do those people go? They go to the street. The wintertime is life or death. We've already had people have hands and feet amputated because of frostbite. The only reason why we are not seeing people dying in the streets right now is because of our partners, Salvation Army with Winter Warm Up. They open in the wintertime, as well as PASS opens up their doors as well, and then US Vets has a shelter as well. So when we look at the housing issue, our point in time numbers went up. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, all my friends up here, 45%. Last year, our point in time count numbers went up 161%. This is an issue that is not getting smaller. And quite frankly, we got to be proactive about it. So when we look at affordable housing, when we look at emergency shelter services, those things need to be ramped up. Otherwise, unfortunately, this issue is going to be much more visible on our streets. The only other thing I wanted to touch on is, again, that all of my friends up here have touched on, is that senior population. We have, I would say right now in my shelter on any given night, half of my shelter is full-time employed, sometimes with more than one full-time job. The other half of my shelter is over 65 and disabled. Right now in our housing units, and our housing starts at $350 a month up to about $650 a month. The majority of people that we are housing right now in our affordable housing are over 65 on fixed incomes. The other half of that, I have a woman that works 4 jobs. So when we look at this issue, I always like to bring in the emergency services shelter portion because the inns are full, and this is an issue that Sometimes once the toothpaste is out of the tube, it's a little bit harder to get in. I do also want to say for Sherry, the prevention side of things has been really, really helpful because a lot of seniors right now, we also run a home repair program. What we're seeing a lot of is seniors becoming wheelchair bound and they only have steps, they don't have a ramp, in which case they can no longer access the housing that they live in, which then causes them to lose their housing. Then where do you go from there? These seniors on a fixed income, you can't really just ask the government for a raise, but your rent's gonna keep going up, right? So I just wanted to kind of bring all of that together, but again, nothing different than what any of my wonderful colleagues said.
Just real quick, Allison, what is the point in time?
So the point in time count is basically HUD tells us every year, go out and count the number of individuals who are experiencing homelessness. So when we're counting, it's important to remember that if you are in the hospital, but you are experiencing homelessness, or you're in jail, or you're couch surfing, or your friend's letting you stay, not that I need a mic, but this one I think is dead. Or let's say your friend let you stay on the couch that night or you got a hotel room. You are not counted as being homeless. This year we saw a rise in first-time homelessness. We have a very, very large population of people who are living in their vehicles. And in the wintertime, that's a big problem. So the point in time count, while flawed, does give us a bit of an idea of how many folks that we are, dealing with who are dealing with homelessness and experiencing homelessness. I also would like to say that families, there are a lot of first-time homeless families. We have a little bit of rental assistance money, and most of my rental assistance money is going to someone over 60 or families over 4. So.
Allison, you very well said. Do you mind if I add to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So one of the things that Allison said when she said, mentioned flawed, just keep this in mind. HUD mandates that the point in time count is done in January. Yep. So January in Yavapai County, a lot of people that are experiencing homelessness are transient, and they're going down to Maricopa County. So it doesn't fully capture what our community is going through. So to be able to see an increase in the point in time count in the winter, that's even more drastic than I think that we really pay attention to.
It's also important to say that if you're staying in a shelter, you are not counted. We have two shelters that open in the wintertime, which means we have more shelter beds. So thank you, Brian, for saying that. Brian and I have the same feeling about the pit count, I think.
My name is Emily Reed. I am the commanding officer for the Salvation Army here in Prescott. Just wanted to touch on emergency sheltering. As Allison mentioned, for 5 months out of the year, we open up our kitchen, and anywhere from 30 to 35 single men come out with cots and sleep on our dining room floor. Though it's not ideal, it is a life-saving service that we get to provide. However, we don't receive any funding help with that. And realistically, within the next few years, the Salvation Army will not be able to maintain that budget to continue providing this life-saving support. Outside of that too, we also have about $30,000 out of our operation funds for rental assistance. And much like my friends here said, we are helping people that are 60 and above with their rent, or families with multiple children. And the need is just increasing. Like I said, we have no funding support, so this is coming out of all of our operation costs, and we love coming alongside people and providing this service, but again, within the next few years, we won't be able to sustain that out of our budget.
Okay, thank you. Committee?
Questions? Please.
One of the concerns that the committee has also identified has to do with, I'm not sure what portion of the housing needs, so I'll just explain what the concern is. When people go to rent housing, there's an application fee. anything from, $25, $75, and there may be no housing available at that particular location, but they still have to pay the fee. Granted, it costs the landlord money to do background checks and such things. When you have clients who are going out of your facilities to find rentals, do you have access to any financial assistance to help them with that portion of their need?
We usually work that into our budget, or we'll apply for a grant.
And how do you work your grant money to the individual? What's that process?
I'm not sure so so we have relationships with them. So if we know that they're looking for housing and they're out there hustling, we will pay their application fees within our advocacy budget every year to the landlord directly.
Okay.
Now, we're big mouths, so if we think that it's not a good fit, or if their income's only $3,000 a month and they're trying to get into a rental for $6,000, we're gonna go no. But we make sure that we vet those really carefully. Yeah.
And I would like to say that one challenge I had, I was working with a woman, she's been probably 18 months looking, and she's like, do you know I apply for housing like 4 to 6 times every month? That's a significant amount of her budget. And you could say there's not discrimination, but when the housing demand is so high right now and there's so many people applying for one apartment, my person may not get it time after time again. It's just, that's very challenging. And she's like, I don't even want to try anymore. And I was like, you have to try, because you need someplace to go sometime. And that's a part of the problem. There's such a high demand. We're not getting chosen. Here's Brian.
That's a great question. It really is. For a U.S. vet, within that $392,000 that we're going to have a gap, $146,000 of that is for rapid rehousing money that provides for the first month, last month, and deposits. On top of that, we have master leasing program where we know that the landlord is not going to rent to someone that has multiple evictions and whatnot. So we sign the lease for 1 year and allow them, and we manage that as basically the middleman, in that process. But with that, there's also expenses that we have to fix those units, because we are the ones that said that, that we're going to be the master leasers of that property. So great question. Thank you, Ms. Betsy.
Any other question? I have one. Firstly, what I see is a group effort. You each are individual with what you're doing, but you work with the organization next to you or that's such, and you're much stronger from that. Yes. And again, it's hard for Prescott residents to understand we have a housing issue. Right. But I have to congratulate you for the partnership you have with each and every one of you. Thank you.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The camaraderie here is wonderful. Is there a platform that you all place your needs on to notify each other? And is that platform made available to the public? There was a need a few months ago that I ran across, and I posted that need out on Facebook, and that need was fulfilled 10 times because of the public, heard about that need and posted it. I would love to be a part of a platform that you all come up with, that you could post those needs, because the public does want to know what's going on, and we're not inside the group, so we don't understand that. I also have another thought. Seniors. I am a real estate broker. I do a lot with the senior residences here in the area. There are so many seniors that live alone. So many seniors that live alone. I think there needs to be an organization put together, some type of platform, education, that educates seniors how to find a partner to move in. I think that would help eliminate a lot of our senior problems. Those people need to have companions. And I think there are so many homes out there with 3 empty bedrooms that haven't seen a soul. utilizing a bathroom for a long, long time, and I think that could be something that's done, and I would love to be a part of that. So, thank you.
Just a quick comment on that. CCJ historically has done that. So if we have a unit opened up with more than one bedroom, we look at roommate situations, especially with senior citizens. And in fact, we just worked with PASS just recently to fill one of our units with 2 women who are now, well, they were sort of roommates before, but now they're roommates. So that's definitely something that we've been looking at. As far as that needs list, I mean, how big is that city website? Can't we get like a little tab on there and, here's what all the nonprofits in the area are needing?
Yeah.
Of course, number one would be on there would be money. But I love that idea, and I think that there's a huge opportunity for something like that. And I've seen other models we can talk later, but I've seen other models where that's worked really well.
And I just want to say one thing, and I don't, Michael, I'm good.
Yeah.
But I want to say that it's not just for your organizations, for that senior, have a partner, that's for the public. I think the public needs to be educated, because the public is going to be who's going to visit you in the future if they're not taking care of their own situation.
All right, thank you, each and every
All right,
one.
thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it.
Sorry, that wasn't more uplifting.
Okay, the next group is our basic needs and senior services. This includes our food assistance and food bank organizations like Prescott Cupboard, New Horizon, People Who Care, the Adult Center, if the Adult Center is here. Again, those basic needs around food and senior center specific or programs. I think that's good. Yeah. All right. Okay, Jeff, starting with you.
Hello, committee. My name is Jeff Lorig. I'm from Prescott Meals on Wheels. I am the Director of Program Services. And appreciate the funding that we've received in the past for our food costs that obviously everybody knows about the inflation we've all experienced. And that was able to help offset some expenses for us in the past. And this year you're helping out with some kitchen equipment that helps us to be a little more efficient. When we moved into that building about 20 years ago, we were serving half the people we are today. And today we're serving 370 meals in Prescott and Prescott Valley. We have over 300 volunteers. We had 24 people drive routes this morning and to not just deliver nourishment, hot, fresh meal, but also a little bit of care to make sure that people are okay, that they haven't fallen. We often, about once a week, we find somebody on the floor, and we call city services to help us to help our neighbors in that way. But we're also just delivering that sense of dignity that when we come to somebody's house who they've been living alone, they haven't spoken to anybody except for maybe our drivers this week. But we're offering a sense of dignity. We're saying you're worth it. You're worth our time. You're worth our effort. You're worth our money, all of our resources. You mean something to us. You don't need to be alone. You're not alone. So that's what we deliver. We don't just deliver food. We deliver a lot more than that. So as I feel like after I listened to the other group here, it's like, that's kind of depressing, but I'm also really encouraged by the goodness in the room, of the community, the people who want to do good for others, and the opportunities for partnership. So as we look forward, we're seeing that we just had a huge increase of demand over the last couple of years. We increased 40% of our people who need meals. And we expected that to increase. We have room. We currently do not have a wait list, thank God, and thank the community. But we are running out of room in our area. So the more new equipment that we can put in our kitchen that allows us to create meals in a much quicker way and more efficient way, that helps us tremendously. And we don't just deliver out. We also have a dining room. And so we had 60 to 80 people today. And that's usually about our average number. And I can tell you, as I was coming to this meeting, I walked past a car and somebody was living in their van. But they were there so they could have a hot, fresh meal. We got our Christmas tree up already. I don't care if it's too early to celebrate Christmas. We're going to do it because it brings a little light in people's lives. And So I know who that lady is, and I know she was sitting there having communication, hanging out, and feeling like a normal person. So that's one of those things we provide, and we want to keep providing that. So thank you for the funding in the past, and I'm sure we'll be asking again.
Hi, my name is Bud Heitman. I'm the board chair for the community cupboard of Prescott Valley, and we have a mobile now. So that's pretty exciting. We're delivering out to areas of food deserts to bring food to those that cannot have transportation or access to fresh nutritional food. The community cupboard's been around since 1973. We're increasing. We started in a little garage behind the Catholic Charities, moved to a little store or a little space behind, across the street from Elgato Azul, and now we're in a 3,200 square foot building. So with your last year, you awarded us a grant to help remodel that facility, to open up some pinch points and open up our lobby in order to have our clients shop in a shopper's model, meaning more like a grocery store. So what they do is they come in, they register, grab a shopping cart, and they'll be able to go around and actually choose items on the shelf. We're gonna look just like a grocery store, and because of the grant money that you gave us and provided for us, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much for that. In terms of food insecurity, in October, we serviced just over 7,200 clients. Out of that 7,200, 32%, or around 2,300, were children. 28%, around 2,000, were over 65. To put that in perspective, in January, we did about 5,000, I believe. We're up 90% since January serving their clients. So that's the need out there right now. Many of our clients, we open at 2:30. Our clients start lining up around 11. They get in line. They do it for two reasons. Number one, they think we have a better supply there first, which is true, because it depletes throughout the day. And the second reason is more, it's socialization for them, because many of them, they live in their cars. You've heard from my other colleagues that they live in their vehicles, and you know, that's the only place they have. Or they're up in the Prescott National Forest, living in tents and stuff up there. So I really appreciate everything you've done. We will be applying this year for grant money again. So thank you for your time, and everybody here. We collaborate. We're not in competition. We all collaborate. We know most everybody here. So this is a one-time shot. One other thing is with the SNAP, I want to thank the Prescott community, because the SNAP wasn't funded. But we sent it out on social media. It was on the news. It was in the newspapers. Prescott stepped up. They donated not only money to us, they donated huge amounts of foods. They started food drives for us. And I want to thank the community, because they really stepped up for us. So thank you.
Hello, me again. Yeah, so we serve hot breakfast Monday through Friday in our commercial kitchen, and then hot lunch Tuesday through Friday. We have also seen an increase in that, so anywhere from 30 to 60 people come daily. During like winter breaks, like when school's out during the breaks, we see an increase in children coming in for our hot meals as well. And we also have a food pantry as well. We're very thankful for our friends at Community Cupboard. Whatever we can't meet the need, they do, and vice versa. We have a really good collaboration with them. We no longer have a thrift store, so it has been converted over to what we call the Client Choice Food Pantry. So it is set up like a grocery store. We have a point system, so they can go through and shop for what they need. Each item is a point, just to kind of help keep their brain going for budgeting reasons as well too. And within the past few months, specifically last month and the beginning of this month, we saw probably anywhere from 7 to 10 new clients coming in, a majority of them either being families with multiple children again, or elderly coming in that were affected by the SNAP cuts as well. Yeah, we're doing it.
My name is Kathy McFadden, and I'm the director of the center over there on Rosser. And I want to thank you for your past grants. That's helped us significantly with our seniors. A lot of people have the misconception that our seniors are wealthy who come to the center, and we actually have a lot of low-income families. We have 400 memberships that we've given to low-income individuals, and through their health insurance, they actually get to come and participate in fitness classes for free. And that's not free for us because we have to pay our instructors, but it is a service that we are giving to the community. We are finding that since COVID, it's about 2.5 years, we have had an increase of participation where we would normally have 200 people a day. We're now having 2,000 people a day come through our doors. We also share the building with Meals on Wheels. So as Jeff stated, they served about 80 people for lunch today. And these members are cross-pollinating, if you would. They're going to Meals on Wheels for a meal. Then they're coming over to the center for socialization, for fitness, for activities. And we have outgrown our space, and our seniors are asking us for services like grief support groups, health information from doctors coming in and giving seminars to help them with things like that. They call daily for housing, for rides, for coats. So we're actually like a little information center. Everyone thinks we know everything, and we don't, but we'd like to. So we have a great need across the board. Our biggest need is space. However, a big need is transportation. Our seniors don't have transportation to get to the center, and if they could come there, they would have a hot meal from Meals on Wheels, and then they would get that socialization aspect. And that actually helps prevent depression, which we saw a lot during COVID for that, and loneliness, and like Jeff said, people are just falling in their homes and there's no one there to check on them. So if that happens and you're in one of our groups like Mahjong or Pinochle, or you're there volunteering, I haven't seen Bob today, where is he? We follow up, and we've actually, with that, have found a lot of people who have passed away or have been injured at home and actually needed that call someone to come check on them. With coats, a lot of seniors have been asking us for coats this year, so we're doing a coat and glove drive and hat drive at the center, and we have a list of about 200 people who actually need a coat, ranging from seniors to children. We also have started a kids closet where homeless families are nominated through schools or churches, and they come to us, and we are letting them have clothes and a food box from our closet. And this is kind of giving our seniors a way to help bridge the gap and to serve the community better for those who can.
Char, can you come up with this group?
Good afternoon, Madam and Chairs. I'm Char Malone, the co-founder of Widow's Mite here in Prescott. To my knowledge, we're the only ones providing services for widows within the community, and so our footprint is quite large in this area. We have ladies that are still working that are in their middle 40s to 92, and I echo the need for housing. We have one lady that has moved 3 times in just a short period of time that we've known her. We have partnered with a lot of the people here in this room, and we appreciate that. This is the first time coming to you. We started out as a group in 21. We became an LLC, and last year became eligible for grant provisions. So we don't have a budget. We totally rely on the community's support. We have 43 years of widowhood within our supervision, our board, and so we're able to walk with these ladies that did not choose widowhood. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right. Members, any questions? Then with that, we thank you each and every one. We appreciate you coming in.
Okay. All right, moving along, our next group. This might be a really big one. Hopefully we can get everybody at the table. If we can't, just sit back, and once someone speaks, maybe you can take their spot from them. So other public and health services, this would include youth programs like Boys and Girls Club, so Arizona Serve, NASCARE, Mat Force. What else do I have here? Yeah, if you fall in this, job training, employment services, mental health service providers, public health care programs and services. So we're gonna fill it up. This one's a big one. Okay.
You're gonna need more microphones.
All right, I'll just go down. And we'll go, and I'll get you. I know that this one's a big one, so I'll start right here. Here you go, ma'am.
Hi, thank you so much for allowing us to be here today. My name is Clarissa Nelson. I'm with Map Force and the Yavapai Reentry Project. The project that I'm representing, we work with the formerly incarcerated population, people who are coming out of the prisons and jail, coming back to Prescott, Yavapai County, right? And they don't have housing, they don't have transportation, they don't have a job, they don't have food, they don't have clothes. There's a lot of needs. We're boots on the ground. We meet these people where they're at, and we get to know them so that we could best support them, right? And what I'm finding right now is I've had a real big uptick in, I'm getting phone calls from probation officers, behavioral health places, that they have people who are homeless and they need help. No transitional sober living will take you without money, you know, all those types of things. And when people are coming out of incarceration, they typically don't have money, right? And so that is like the first huge barrier that I'm noticing. And then from that, it goes into the transportation, getting to and from, trying to apply for employment, right? And then finding those employers that support second chance, right? So it's like a big endless circle, right? I've utilized many of the agencies that have come up here and talked with you guys to assist with food, to assist with clothing. At times, I've had to call the shelters and see if I could get a mat for somebody. So it's those repeated things over and over again. Housing, and then beyond those transitional housings, who can afford, you know, deposit first, last, right? They want you to make 3 times the rent. That's unrealistic. Who can afford that, right? And so it's a endless cycle that we need to, again, work together to break and help the people who live here. We did receive support from you guys a few years back, and we were able to assist and help a lot of people. And we're going to apply for this grant again this year, so thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I'm Alex Heineman. I'm the executive of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Central Arizona, serving kids in Prescott and Prescott Valley. After hearing every organization before us, I'm kind of feel silly asking to make sure my place filled with fun for kids is being taken care of when I hear the needs of housing, food, and clothing, and healthcare and drug rehabilitation. But I will say this: there's a couple of stigma that I would like to address the committee and the city council as well, just to ensure that everybody knows what the Boys and Girls Clubs are and what they are not. Even though I carry on my cool little baseball jacket today a logo, a brand that is 160 years old and serves kids across the country, I'm not placed here by Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Our organization is not placed here. We, like every organization in this room, only exist in the generosity and the care of this community. So we are also a local nonprofit, even though I have a big fancy logo on my bright blue jacket. I would also like to share that we are a decentralized model, that once again, this is Prescott's Boys and Girls Clubs. And we, like everybody else, are striving to make sure we remain in the grace of donors and public funders. One thing that I can say when listening to the much more important needs of some of the organizations that have spoken before me is, I think, one of the best preventative efforts you can do to fight homelessness, hunger, lack of clothing, and lack of housing is to take care of the young generation and give them the right environment so that they can build their lives successfully and become productive citizens, and so that we can share the philanthropic attitude of Prescott, Arizona with that younger generation so that all of our organizations can thrive and take care of those in need. And the first step would be to educate the children on those core values that our community holds so strongly. I'm really excited to be here. I'm very grateful for all of you for granting us the funds for the safety fence coming next year, for the playground, which is a shared playground. So that's CDBG funds taking care of our private organization and the city of Prescott at the same time. So really grateful for that. I just wanted to share my sentiments and let you know that we're the clubs. Even though it says boys and girls in front of it, there can be some crossed wires and miscommunication as to what nonprofit we actually are in service of kids. Just remember that we're the clubs. We serve kids more days in the year than the actual school districts, because when the school closes, we open for 10 hours a day. So we're serving your kids, your grandkids, your employees' kids in Prescott and Prescott Valley in the numbers of 250 to 270 kids a day, including all the school breaks. So that's our breadth and our footprint and my notes. Thank you.
Hello, I am Greg Billy. I'm the CEO of the NASCARE. We have a NASCARE Wellness Center here in Prescott, and we serve people who have SMI, substance use recovery. They're low income and usually also have some physical disabilities. We provide day services throughout the week, which is living skills, life skills, community integration, transportation, and we actually do have some housing as well. The population we serve is, we help reduce social isolation. And sometimes I think, what does that mean, social isolation? Is it that important? It really is, because when people isolate, their problems increase. They don't want to go out and work. They don't interact with other people, and they have greater issues. The people we serve also they could be family members. We have people that have families, and that family needs support. So being able to come to our services gives them support. We have also people, homelessness is also not just an income problem, which it is, it's also a mental health problem. And we do have people as well that come to our services that maybe they are living in their car, but that can come be on and off. They may have housing, they may not have housing, and coming to our services, it helps keep them on track and helps them also get back on track to get into housing. Also, I think it's important, the type of services we provide helps keep people stable. And what does that do? It reduces the impact on crisis services. Crisis, which is, actual, first responder services, but that also comes to inpatient services, medical services, as well as, their physical health and social supports. And another thing is, I think, a part of social isolation is social supports, and we build not only social supports for people that come to the center, but a lot of times those people build outside social supports, so that way they get more support than just from us as they network. And I just had an example the other day. I had a young man come into our offices looking for our services. And this young man was, mentally disabled, has some physical disability, lives with his mom at home, needs support, came to us for that. The social supports, has friends and all that, but does he? Because he doesn't have those social supports, is looking for the need. The thing I thought was kind of exciting, why did he come to us to begin with, is because he was referred by his therapist. And we were recommended for that support, for that need. So that's what our facilities do. I think that's why it's important. You guys have given us funding already on a grant to help us improve our facilities, which has been very helpful, and it's really improved that for the services we provide. And yes, we are looking for more because there's quite a bit of work there, and we've been around for quite a while. And for a very, very quick presentation, I wanted James to just give you just a quick overview of what we were looking for.
James Talavera, Homes HMS, also represent NASCAR's maintenance team. I just have to say that over the last several years, working with NASCAR and watching the community efforts that they do to help Prescott, I've often sat and wondered, why wasn't more being done? And I could say today, when Greg asked me to leave and put my hammer down and come out here and help him with this, never in a million years did I realize I would be in such angelic company. To make visible the hands that are reached out in a community, and there are no hands to clap you in the back or applause at the end of the day, but you are amazing people that stand behind me today. Greg and NASCAR being one of those organizations, I stand and I can tell you that Prescott was a wonderful history, and that building on White Spar Road is part of that history. White Spar itself being one of the early lifelines of the community, and that 599 White Spar, to be able to still be standing and functional to help people in our community, not only with housing, but with meals, with counseling support, and we're talking a building that is now over 100 years old from its roots, and all the different, if anybody's seen White Spar, that building has taken multiple forms, okay? And this is the building we are talking about, is taking that and helping NASCAR move the legacy of 599 White Spar forward to continue helping people in the future. We thank you for your time.
My name's Annie Hasley. I'm the Executive Director of Arizona Serve. We are an AmeriCorps program. AmeriCorps is a federally funded program that provides human capital to mainly nonprofit organizations as well as public entities. We've been in Prescott since 2009, and sadly, our reality has definitely shifted in the last 12 months because of a consolidation in federal funding. So we're currently seeing 40 to 50% less of the funding coming through. And we're also seeing, especially with our members who are in the low to moderate income level, higher needs from those individuals. So an inability to serve an AmeriCorps role. So we have definitely shifted this year in trying to increase our living stipends and our what we pay those individuals and doing less AmeriCorps members. So that's kind of been our shift and our change. AmeriCorps members, maybe 5 or 10 years ago, were all out of college. They were individuals who wanted to serve their community, wanted to do a gap year, wanted to join an organization, feel like they were doing some good, and also learn those development skills to either go to grad school or go onto the nonprofit career track. Now we are seeing a 180 in that, in individuals who are coming to us mid-career, specifically in Yavapai County. Individuals who maybe worked in customer service or another capacity and want to get a graduate degree and then move on to something else. We've seen a lot of folks who want to, for example, we have several individuals who are at Polera Health right now as AmeriCorps members. They either worked in a lower kind of income level job, they go to grad school, they get that dream graduate credit, but then they have to do a 700-hour free internship with an organization. Like, how impossible is that if you're also supporting 2 or 3 kids? And so what we've tried to do now is come in and provide a stipend to make that internship possible that then leads them out of that low to moderate income field. And so I think what we've asked for in the past is an ability to expand our offerings. AmeriCorps matches community funding, and so the more that we're able to raise from public programs and private foundations, we're able to multiply more. And so definitely workforce development has taken a shift and a change. And that's not to say that our high school students and those fresh out of college aren't also in need of those internships, but that is definitely a trend that we're seeing, is that shift in who it is that is wanting to serve within the nonprofit sector and perform AmeriCorps duties. So, thanks.
Hello? There we go. Guys all hear me? My name's Greg Neneman, first-time visitor here from Yavapai Humane Society. And I'm talking about something a little different today. In the community, people have dogs and cats and pets of all type. And our mission or our goal is to promote and protect the health and safety and welfare of the compassion animals. Yavapai Humane Society was formed in 1972 and formally opened in 1977 down on Sundog Ranch Road, if people are familiar with that location. And in 2005, the facility was upgraded, put some more kennels in a medical clinic. In 2009, the city turned the clinic over, or the shelter over to Yavapai Humane Society. And at that time, we picked up the contracts for Yavapai County, Prescott, and Prescott Valley. And we maintain those contracts. Yavapai Humane Society is not supported by the county with the exception of the contracts. So we're a 501c3. And a lot of people get us confused that think, oh, you guys are Yavapai County. Well, we're not. We're a 501c3 independently run organization. We have the shelter in itself is a shelter. We handle the dogs or the animals for the animal control officers for the county and in the city, the two cities. And we work on cases for animal hoarding and animal cruelty, which I'll talk about in a second here, and lost and found, and people that surrender their pets. So the life of an animal, when they come in, say they'll come in through the lost and found, they come in and if it's brought in by an animal control officer, there's a certain period of time that it stays in the shelter, and then it's turned over to us for adoption. So when the animal comes in, it's lost and found. We do everything, see if it's chipped or whatever it is, to try and get a hold of the owner. At that time, when it's turned over to the shelter, it goes through a medical examination. It goes through shots. It gets all its vaccinations updated, and if required, it needs to be spayed or neutered. That service is also performed too. And also, too, they will go through a behavioral assessment. So all that stuff, adds up through the community, through the money and everything else. And I'll just talk about the one thing that recently happened with the hoarding incident down in Congress. Well, guess where those 40 cats ended up? So right now, there's 40 cats waiting to be adopted, waiting to go, well, we can't do it all one day, but it's going through medical examination, going through this whole process I just explained. So that's an example of some of the things we do. Hoarding and animal cruelty, we get some of those cases several times a year, and YHS is always out there on the spot, to take care of these things. And don't want to go into the gory details about that, but it's very sad and very tragic. The other thing we do too is we support different programs within the community for the seniors, for the veterans, and for low-income people by doing low-income medical procedures, spay or neuter, vaccines, things along that nature too. Some of our other programs too, say a senior has to go down to Phoenix and go to the hospital or do something down there medically. We will keep their animal at our shelter at a very reduced, all these are income based, but we do support all these types of programs. So my first time here, or our first time here, I should say, and so we will be applying. We are in the process of planning to upgrade our facility. It's been long talked about, and hopefully we get there in the next couple of years to get that done, because we are a vital service to the community. And I welcome any of you to come take a tour of our facility too, to really see what we do and the impact and the attitudes of the people that work there, and just have a loving care for the animals. Being in the private sector all my life, I thought you just went to the shelter to get a dog. It's a whole different situation there. And we're thankful to have the strong support from the community and the people that work at Yavapai Humane. So we'll be applying for a grant. I've never done it before, but I'm going to try. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Gary Janchik, representing United Way of Yavapai County. It's actually the third organization that I've represented here at these meetings. And I feel that my 12 prior years before arriving at United Way were awesome and well spent, but I feel what we're doing at United Way is exactly what our name is. We are living united. We have 38 partnering agencies, many of which are here today. We support them in many ways. We strengthen their programs. The actual ask that I have here is for our renovation of our facility. We've been striving to conduct Center for Organizational Excellence courses throughout the county. Spent about 8 of them a year. 2 of them feature a partnership with the ACF. Those classes were called the Yavapai Connects. And what we've had it both at the Cottonwood facility and at the Prescott Resort, where we hosted 140 nonprofit leaders. The whole aim for this Center for Organizational Excellence is to prevent financial malfeasance with all our partnering agencies, to strengthen their programs, to help them build stronger boards. The other topics that we address, nonprofit accounting, HR development, there's very little that we don't address. And these topics are driven by our partnering agencies and people that we survey who attend the classes. So we're on point with the needs. What's been a driving factor for those Yavapai Connects classes has been the failure of many of our favorite nonprofits in the community. We've seen them bounce back and recover, but they should have never been involved in the malfeasance that they suffered. Several of our closest partners we've worked with directly to help put in conditions to prevent this. So what we're really after with this vital program, Center for Organizational Excellence, is a location that we can call our own. We can have the classes, we're probably going to be, if we get this opportunity, probably about 10 classes a year, in addition to the Yavapai Connects. We would like to have a location within our facility that we can invite organizations to come in, make their own meetings. We actually, 2 of our partnering agencies don't have a home base. You're probably familiar with the Arizona Crisis Team and Imagination Library. It'd be awesome to allow them to come in and have their board meetings here. We're also looking at providing this public space to organizations like the volunteer tax preparation, VITA, I think it is. We will be hosting them in January. We're not sure where we're going to be putting them because we're using this space that's really tiny for like a dozen different purposes. So what we're looking at doing with this funding is actually moving a few walls, creating a much larger space that we can then have these COE trainings on a regular basis. The other problem we've had with this phenomenal room we're in right now, you can only get it up to 90 days out. If I'm fortunate enough to get an incredible speaker that's got November open that he'd love to come and make a presentation, I can't go that far out from like January and schedule that. So at this point, we have no predictability. We can't make a calendar for the year. We want to have this available to other nonprofits, to the public, and most importantly, to have these trainings on a regular basis and be able to strengthen our partnering agencies. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Hello, and thank you for taking time to listen to all of us today. My name is Johnny Martinez. I am the Executive Director of Northland Cares. Northland Cares is a 501c3, sorry about that, medical services clinic. We offer medical testing, treatment, medical case management, outreach and education to people living with HIV, AIDS, hepatitis C, STIs, and for people interested in HIV prevention. We offer a whole slew of wraparound services, which also include housing services, short-term rental assistance, and tenant-based rental assistance, and we also help out with food assistance as well. You know, the medical field has changed and has been changing, you know, in the last decade from just, you know, here you go, take a pill, everything's okay, to realizing that it's very hard to stay on a medical regimen when you don't know where you're going to lay your head down at night, where you're going to have your next meal, or how you're even going to get to your doctor's appointment. We are currently the only Ryan White service provider within Yavapai County. So these allow us to offer things like free HIV testing, like I said, low-cost medical treatment for people living with HIV and AIDS. We also do HIV prevention, which is things like post-exposure prophylaxis and pre-exposure prophylaxis, which, depending on if you take them within a certain schedule, it actually decreases your chances of becoming infected with HIV. So, as I stated, part of those services that we offer is food assistance and housing. Our Ryan White grant in April was cut by about 50%. That is our largest grant that we do have. Our facility had to go down to 32 hours a week. Staff have gone from 80 hours to 64 hours, and that also has affected our services that we're able to provide. You know, unfortunately, with prices going up, we've seen a bigger increase in request for food assistance, but our ability to assist has gone down by about 50%. And then that moves on to housing. We actually also get a HOPWA, which is Housing Opportunities for People with AIDS, which allows us to offer tenant-based rental assistance and short-term rental assistance to our clients. But there are restrictions to, like with all grants, there's restrictions with that funding, which does not allow us to help out with transitional fees, you know, putting down deposits, moving costs, different things like that. And we've noticed that either with our assistance, that a lot of clients we're able to get them into housing units and keep that stable. But those big one-time costs, you know, really provide a big barrier. You know, just this year, we've had 3 people just in Prescott. You know, we had client 1 who sought move-in assistance, but we could only provide $500 towards their deposit due to depleted funds. Client 2, after they missed work with COVID, they faced eviction. Luckily, a partner organization was able to help out for a month, but those funds were depleted just with that one request. And then finally, client 3, living on a fixed income after surgery. They're currently seeking mortgage assistance, and we're actively searching for resources, but availability is extremely limited. You know, and to move forward with that, you know, fair market rent just for a 1-bedroom, you know, is $1,293, including utilities. You know, yet it's incredibly impossible to find units at that price. So those are a lot of the needs that our clients are currently facing, and I know I kind of echo and mirror what a lot of the other partner agencies are discussing. But again, thank you for taking the time to hear us out, and have a wonderful day.
That's okay. Hi, I'm Amanda Voss. I'm the founder and executive director of Yavapai Exploration and Science of Prescott. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit working to bring STEAM education opportunities to our county, but specifically for Prescott and the greater Prescott area. So I like to start everything and teach everyone, but did you know by the age of 7, a child has decided if they can or cannot do science? And that's a huge opportunity gap that we have here in the Prescott area because we don't have these after-school opportunities for kids. They only have their in-school opportunities. And so they've already decided by second grade whether they're going to be a scientist or not, whether they can do science or not. And that's really devastating because STEAM education is actually proven to help with critical thinking and problem-solving skills, which is a huge characteristic that job recruiters are looking for when they enter the job market. So I see this as a huge need in our community. We only have 1 or 2 structured educational programs after school. There is only one that I know of for 0 to 5-year-olds in our community. Most are daycares with wait lists, and that is also, we're talking about all of this, money problems. That's a cost to families. So I provide a lot of free opportunities for kids in our community to come and experience STEAM for free. So we have served, sorry, it gets me a little emotional talking about kids. We have served 12,000 community members, and this year alone, with 70 events that we have brought to the community, we partner with Prescott Valley, and Chino Valley Libraries to bring free educational opportunities to kids in the community. This extends out to elementary students as well. There's very limited hands-on STEAM activities. So, I'm sorry, let me say what STEAM is: science, technology, engineering, art, and math. So combining lots of different fields into one to teach kids fun ways to learn and stay motivated to keep learning. Through all of the research I've done when founding Yes is our nickname, I found very few consistent, affordable STEAM opportunities, if any, in our community. This is a big, schools cannot meet these needs alone. We have great schools and they're continuing to get better. We have lots of work going into them with the PUSD Foundation, HUSD Foundation, but they can't do it alone. There's only so many of them. There's only so much funding. So that's where we're trying to step in and offer that assistance to get them additional resources and support. And the families of our community are actively seeking opportunities in the community. We have, like I said, we've served over 12,000 community members, 16,000 in our lifetime alone, and we've only been around for a year and a half. So the need is here. Parents really want opportunities for their kids, to see their kids succeed, to have opportunities, especially in our rural area, that those opportunities are even more limited. So we are helping to provide that. So this year I will be looking for a grant just to help us sustain our free programs, because as of right now, we are a 100% volunteer-based organization, and we are using funding from our very few paid events to pay for our free events so that we can continue to offer very vital opportunities for our kids. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Catherine Robbins. I'm with the Launchpad Teen Center, which is a youth-serving organization here in Prescott. We serve youth between the ages of 12 and 18 years old, approximately. So it's middle school through high school students. We offer after-school drop-in programs 5 days a week, so Monday through Friday. We also have a workforce development program where we educate teens on how to apply for jobs, which then gives them, once they've completed the 3-day program, the opportunity to do a internship with a local business, the Chamber of Commerce we've partnered with, City of Prescott. And then also we have a youth-run cafe that's on site at our facility off of 6th Street. We offer outdoor adventure programs, which include summer camps, the outdoor adventure camps that occur in the fall and during spring break, and then weekend excursions, which occur every other weekend throughout the year. And those include horseback riding, camping, mountain biking, canoeing, hiking, things like that. We also offer, we have a teen advisory council, which is our youth leadership program. They have developed throughout the years, our teen advisory council has developed campaigns that educate people including adults, about those issues that teens see as impacting them directly in our community. More recently, over the last 3 years, we have had intergenerational dinners and interactions between the general community members and the teens, and teens not only at the Launchpad, but teens throughout our community. And through our cafe, we have academic mentoring. I should address these things. We do educational support for teens. Academic mentoring and tutoring is offered on site. We also do off-site programs through the Prescott Unified School District. We partner with the Yavapai Prescott Indian Tribe around our workforce development efforts, and we also partner with the juvenile justice, the Yavapai County Juvenile Justice, to do mentoring with teens that are in their journey program and also teens that are currently incarcerated. One of the programs that we offer that is, I think, applies to this is our All Access Pass program. So throughout our entire, we've been in Prescott since 2014. And we've always offered scholarships to youth to participate in our programs that may cost money. Our drop-in programs are free of charge. Some of our camping programs, things like that, may have a cost associated with them. And we have always offered a scholarship to youth who needed a scholarship to participate in those programs. I guess I should say that 57% of the teens we serve come from low to moderate income households. And then there are teens that we serve who come from Alice threshold households that are working, basically working poor households that while they are working and don't qualify for the services that teens coming from LMI households would, they struggle to meet their general needs. We have expanded that scholarship program to something that we call the All Access Pass program, which allows teens to not only register for our programs for free, but also gives them the opportunity to get a meal after school through our cafe, to take a sack lunch home with them after school as well, so that they have food for the next day. Because if they're not qualifying as LMI, they're not qualifying for school lunch. We've seen a 26% increase in the need for that program over the last 5 months. And that is an area that we see as an issue for our youth. In addition to that, and this is not a service that we provide, but we are seeing that teens are, and their families are struggling with housing. It's echoing the same thing that other organizations here have said. Clearly, we don't provide that service to teens and their families, however, we hear it from them. That food insecurity and housing insecurity are issues that are impacting our youth currently.
Oh, questions? I would like to thank each and every one of you. It's nice to see some new applicants. That's what we strive for. It's always good to see those different organizations come back with a success story, but HUD is hard to work with. You have to stay in that lane. So we realize it's not easy, but thank you, each and every one. Appreciate it.
Right, we're almost at the end here, Madam Chair. At this time, before we open up to public, the organizations that haven't been called up, if you could come to the front table, Yavapai College, Hope, Natural History Institute, I think was one. Just any organization that wasn't sure about the other groups, come on up if you like to. Again, it's completely optional. Okay, it's just you. Anyone else? Any other organizations? We're good? Okay.
Thank you. Hello. My name is Timothy McGarvey. I am with Hope Incorporated. Hope stands for Helping Ourselves Pursue Enrichment. We are a consumer-run, or AKA peer family-run specialty provider. So we provide peer support mainly throughout various parts of the state of Arizona. We serve those who are living with mental illness, substance use disorders, and also involved with those in the criminal justice system. I personally am on the SOAR team, or SOR. That stands for State Opioid Response Team. So my job in Yavapai County is my territory, and I go through businesses, parks, gas stations, hotels, people where these are places where people may overdose, or I even go to senior centers. I just started this role a month ago, and I am amazed at how many people opiates have touched their lives in one way or the other. Almost everyone I speak to either knows someone who has overdosed or knows someone who has an issue with substance use, or especially with the fentanyl and heroin and carfentanil crisis. So my role, or my job, is mainly I help people get into detox centers, residential treatment, anything involved with substance use. I also help those at like Connection Center. I've referred people to CCJ. I work with them. I work with a lot of different organizations that I've heard speak here so far. These are my handy dandy little cards that I hand out. I also hand out fentanyl to businesses, and I have a PowerPoint training that I do. I even give out a handy little certificate that shows that you know how to use fentanyl. Or I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Unbelievable. Yeah, that you not only know how to use that. No, I'm joking. No, that you know how to use Narcan. We don't use the, sorry, it's just beautiful. Am I on camera? Perfect. Anyway, so yeah, I have a PowerPoint slide, so I show people how to use Narcan. I recently visited the high school, and they were interested in staff knowing that. A lot of the business I go to, too, I have visited businesses, and they're like, well, we find needles in our bathrooms. So it's a big issue, and you know, I'm very proud to be part of the organization and what I do. I'm a great speaker too, you can tell, right? But yeah, that's pretty much all I have. I really wanted to say thank you to all the organizations that I've heard so far. I've worked with CCJ. I visit the parks. I see the homeless problem. It's a concern in the community. Food is too. I work with food banks to help, you know, some of the people that I serve. And yeah, so thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any questions? Okay. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I do have a question. How are you funded?
Say again?
How are you funded? Is this donation, federal? Just curious.
Yeah, the SOAR program, I know that we get a grant, but I'm not sure really who it's through or anything. I could check and get back with you guys, but yeah, I was just invited here, and I wanted to show up because, like I said, I've been on the SOAR team for a month now, and I canvass a lot. You know, I'm in my car driving around. I've been to Chino, I've been to Prescott. I've mainly served the Prescott area recently, and I mean, I'm in disbelief with how many people. I've actually had people in tears, you know, thanking me for what I do. So I know that this program is very important to the community, And actually, the whole country, you know, I'm sure everyone's aware of the opiate issues that we have. So, yeah.
Okay, the last group is an open call to the public, so any members of the public is free to come up to the table. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Here you go.
Hi there. My name's Feather. I'm here because Shay invited me because there are members of both of our communities who struggle to find affordable housing. It was Tuesday that there was a message in a group chat that popped up that one of my friends had attempted suicide. She's stable now. She's in a crisis stabilization unit. But the big reason for her being in this situation is because she's been living on her sister's couch for many months and doesn't have a place to live. And until she has a place that she can afford to live in, she's got disabilities. She does her best. She's currently in med school to become a nurse. But until she has a place that she can afford to live in, she will continue to struggle to live a life that she wants to live.
Hello. My name is Shay Richland, and I live at a low-income housing tax credit property for seniors here in the area. I'm not sure if that term is familiar to you, but I'm finding it takes college education just to understand what that means. But I've lived there for a number of years, and the reason I'm here today is because the people I live with are facing a horrible future in terms of they're all seniors, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. I think our oldest resident is going to be 100 next month. She's totally blind. She's living by herself. Another woman is 93, macular degeneration, on oxygen 24/7, no family in the area. The family that she has, for the most part, is unable to help her. So what's happening this last few years is our landlord has been raising our rents 10% a year. So one of the sheets that I have here is just a couple of examples of a couple people's incomes. Most of us are only on Social Security income. You compare a 2% Social Security income to a 10% rent increase, and you know, it's just the writing's on the wall. And so this community is going to have grandmas and grandpas on the street. You've already heard several people talk about they're seeing a difference, a change, more seniors showing up for services. That's not going to go away. When I read the local Prescott housing assessment needs, one of the facts in there talked about single women had a critical need for housing, critical. And so I'm here today to share some of this with you because every time I talk to what I call a normie in the community, not somebody living in poverty, is that they can't believe this is going on. And so my goal is to be a senior advocate for women, primarily women on Social Security income. Probably 90 to 95% of the people in my building are women. Probably 25% of them don't have transportation. One of my neighbors left to catch the bus to go back home, but she gave me this to share with you. Living at poverty level at the age of 86 is challenging, and making ends meet becomes more of a concern than ever before with the cost of living. Healthcare becomes more of a priority as I have found myself spending more than ever. Finding transportation to medical appointments is very hard. Some of us at the community I live in received some grant funds to help pay for rent for a few months and utilities recently, which has been a godsend to some people that they didn't know how they were going to pay their rent the next month. So we're not talking about a problem that's down the road. We're talking about a problem that these senior women who have worked all their lives, who've raised families, many have volunteered in communities, are in a pickle. And so we're not a nonprofit, we're just a little ragtag group trying to advocate for ourselves. And so I wanted to have you guys have some facts and help maybe spread the word. And if opportunities to come up, for example, it was through the chamber and their foundation that we were able to get some of this funding. And that's what I'm I guess advocating for, is some way to have some rent stabilization to prevent homelessness. Because again, we're going to have some of these people can't even live in their cars because they don't have cars to live in. So, thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Ginger.
So,
Ladies, you might want to stay.
No, it's just for general. My question is, so much of this is we're hearing about housing, we talked about it briefly, but do you all get together and do brainstorming for solutions? And I'm not being facetious, I'm being very serious. Do you have brainstorming meetings to say, let's talk about solutions and start throwing it out there, what possibly there are, if there are solutions? Money is an immediate fix, and I get that. Rent is coming up and money runs out, and beating that horse until it's dead is really a difficult thing. But I just would love to see brainstorming events to where we talk about solutions, whether or not it goes in and we buy these, apartment complexes and renovate them, whether or not we create a village that people can walk, in close proximity to facilities, or we have a bus service that picks up and goes back and forth. I would love to see some type of a brainstorming solution meeting. I would love to participate in that.
Yes, we've had conversations on exactly that topic with council members and figuring out the right forum for that kind of session where stakeholders, not only the folks that you've seen today, non-for-profits, but other stakeholders in the communities in the for-profit space, the developers and whatnot, get together. It's a work in progress, but that is something we're looking at doing somehow, some way. So.
And also CIP.
Oh, right. Yes.
So I don't know if that needs to be mentioned.
Yeah, go ahead. Just a little bit. We're about close out of time here, but yeah, explain what the CIP. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is John Duncan, and I'm with Northland Cares, but as a community member that lives in Prescott and a Prescott residents, I just wanted to let you know that there is an organization that's called CIP. It is a organization that brings all of the nonprofit organizations that have to do with housing together into one meeting for us to be able to communicate, share that dialogue. That is a specific network that funnels out specific care needs throughout all of the agencies and gets the answer done through the interagencies. There are certain roadblocks in communicating straight to social media because we're dealing with healthcare, we're dealing with things that are privacy limited for us to be able to communicate straight to the public. So we have to be able to do it in interagencies, and CIP does that. So a lot of our needs are going to be met by other agencies or reaching out to other individuals that are connected with those. I highly recommend, and I appreciate everybody that has gone to our meetings in the past, but I would like for you to be able to be welcomed to go to CIP meetings, to be able to ask these questions, see all of the agencies once a month, and so on and so forth. And it's also open. We have every other meeting that is open to the public. Now that is organized through Catholic Charities. They are not here today? Okay, so it is organized through Catholic Charities, and we do it inside of their boardroom. CIP also organizes with US Vets, CCJ, and Northland Cares, and other agencies the pit count. And we do that every single year, and we're actually gearing up right now to be able to organize that and to get the resources that we need for that. And just a little plug as a agency advocate, please do site visits for every single organization that you heard today. We are more than welcoming people to be able to see our facilities, to be able to meet with our executive directors and other people inside of our agency. We represent just a small percentage of the people that work with us, work for us, and we provide the services to. So I highly recommend, if there is an agency that piqued your interest or you wanted to know more about, please reach out to them and do a site visit. A few on the board have done site visits to our facility, and it's been overly welcoming to share that information face to face. There's so much an email can do. So I just wanted to let you know that, and thank you so much for letting me speak.
Thank you, John. Okay.
So
That is it.
back to our agenda.
Yes.
So this is the presentation. So what's next?
Next is closing the public hearing, and then I can go into staff announcements.
Okay.
Just need someone to do a motion for that.
I'll move to close the program year 2025 Community Needs Workshop and public hearing.
Second
Second.
is by Deb Savawini. And do we vote? Get your hands up. So the workshop is closed.
Thank you. Regarding staff announcements, Madam Chair, and the CAC, we will not have a meeting in December. Our next meeting will be in January. At that point, we'll be in the middle of our application period. Again, for the community, thank you so much for being here today and participating in this public needs workshop. The grant application opens December 1st, and it's open for 2 months, closes January 31st. So there are certain stipulations around this grant. So especially if you're a organization or program that has never applied for CDBG, it's important that we communicate directly. And again, that's my sole job here at the city, is this grant. So we're not wasting anybody's time, okay? Because the HUD grant can be pretty specific. So I want every application that comes forward to have a chance, and that's a big piece of that. There'll be a grant application how-to workshop video that'll be posted online. I recommend watching that. It's not mandatory, but it will be available on our CDBG website for you to view before you enter the application. So that's it. All I have for staff announcements, Madam Chair.
So with that, I need a motion to adjourn. And the time is 2:51. That would be Ginger, a second.
I'll second
That is Jenny, and with that, we're adjourned.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you for each and every group.
Yeah.